What's up, A3 friends? Welcome to the show. We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. I'm joined by NWSL U.S. Women's National Team legends Lori Lindsey and J Mac on the bottom. Ladies, I'm excited to dig into today's show. We had a very eventful weekend full of games. And whether you're listening as a podcast with us on Galazzo or you're here with us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Jump in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Ask us some questions. Before we get started, though, we do want to acknowledge the passing of the legendary coach, a massive impact on the women's soccer community, Matt Beard, the English professional women's football manager. He managed Liverpool women, West Ham, Chelsea, the Boston Breakers, Millwall, and Burnley. And sadly, the news was announced yesterday that he passed away at just 47 years old. Liverpool postponed its Women's Super League fixture against Aston Villa earlier today following the news, and Burnley said its match against West Bromwich and Albion, also scheduled for today, was postponed. There's a minute silence held across all of the games taking place in the WSL and the WSL2 today, as well as everybody honoring him in the NWSL, especially the match that we just came off of. He had a legendary career. He managed Liverpool between 2012 to 2015, won the WSL in 2023 and 2014 after returning to the club, and he earned promotion back into the WSL in 2021. With Liverpool, he was the FA Women's Super League champion 2012, 2013, 2013, 2014, and the Women's Championship in 2021 to 22. He was also voted the WSL Manager of the Year, not once, twice, 2013 and 2023, and also the FA Women's Championship Manager of the Year in 2022. Liverpool and many of the clubs, friends, players, other coaches, colleagues that he's managed posted some really beautiful tributes to him. I'm just going to read a couple. Liverpool posted, "Matt was not only an extremely committed and successful manager, he was also a person of real integrity and warmth, who will always be remembered with genuine fondness by everyone he worked with at the club." Coach that we all know and love, that he worked with closely, Emma Hayes, said, "Can't quite compute this. Absolutely one of the best humans, always available for a chat, one of the good guys, a champion in the women's game, and a top bloke. So gutted for his family." Juan Carlos also issued a statement saying, "Thank you, Matt, for your help, the laughs in big stadiums and in the parks of London, your advice, your support, our games, and our time together. Rest in peace, Beardy." There was so many players, our very own Jen Beattie, a lot of players currently in the NWSL you saw that have just been so impacted by not only him as a coach, but him as a human being. And I know that we've all had an impact from coaches and people just in this business that you realize it's not just about football. And I think clearly by all of these statements from these people, it just shows that he was an incredible person, and we give all the love to his family. And Lori, Jess, I know you guys wanted to say a few words to Matt Beard.
Yeah, my condolences, first and foremost, to his family and those who are impacted by this. I remember being coached against him. He coached the Boston Breakers beginning of the NWSL days. So I remember him during that time frame. I didn't have the privilege of playing under him, but obviously reading all of these messages from players and coaches and leagues, just the impact that he has had on the women's game has been nothing short of amazing. And I think that's just such a great thing, just to have that type of impact on your players and those around you. So just a good human being overall, as we can see outside looking in. And then to top it off, he was just so young, which it's just very, very sad. So yeah, just my condolences to those who are really impacted by this. The women's football world really lost a good one at the end of the day.
Yeah, echoing everything that J-Mac just said too, and just how young he is, but also condolences to his family, right, and close friends. And because I think especially in this day and age, to have like such an impact, not only like for what players are doing on the field, but to be able to, as Kundananji was saying, put the hugs and stuff, and just like be able to, a human, right, to be able to like just have that human relationship is extraordinary. And I immediately thought about this coach I had. Actually, he was our assistant coach for the Washington Freedom. His name is Clyde Watson, but he also is like a legendary coach in the DC area for the youth. And to have the ability to be able to not only impact youth, but also be able to take that and have those personal relationships professional level is such like a special skill set. And Clyde would be the one that would like put his arm around all of us, even from youth to like the pro level, right? And it reminded me immediately of Clyde, hearing these not only coaches, but all these like players talk about Matt. And I'm like, yes, those are like the special ones that you're like hold dear in your heart because of like just how much they've impacted your life, not even just like your soccer career, right? Just your life. And you're just like, what a joy for these people to be around. So special.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point that, in his short stint that he's had on this earth, but seeing how he's impacted people, not just as a coach, but as a friend, as a human being, what age, no matter where you are in life, what team you're on, what level of professional you're on, he's treated everybody the same. And I think these tributes show that. And all of us from Attacking Third, condolences to his family. Go and hug your loved ones. Rest in peace, Matt Beard. Our prayers are with you and your family. We're going to take a quick break and then jump back into footy after this quick break. So stick with us. Okay, friends, let's get into it. Let's talk some footy, because damn, did we have an eventful weekend. And I think we have to kick it off first with obviously the current. I mean, how could we not? They've won the 2025 NWSL Shield. Jess is giving round of applause. Their current record is 17 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses in the season. The fastest team in history to win an NWSL Shield. They remained at the top of the table since week 6. They're unbeaten in their last 14 regular season appearances. I mean, this is just crazy. I don't think that we've seen a better team. And J-Mac, I know you may argue against me with this, with our NC Courage team in 2018. I think they're better. I'm just gonna say it. They're better. This is the best team I think we've seen in the league thus far. Fight me on it, please.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I think it's a pretty close call. I love what they're doing this season. I'm a huge Kansas City Current fan. I think they're obviously doing fantastic. They've broken records. But I think that would be a great game going head to head. North Carolina Courage 2018 and Kansas City Current 2025. I'll fight anybody any given day till the day I die. And I want to see Kansas City win a Shield, win a championship back to back.
And yeah, that's when it can actually become
we can
valid.
we can have this discussion. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
I mean, they're close, you know. I mean, they're doing some historical things, not to take away the talent that they've been handling this season. I think, you know, they've been just so incredible from front to back. You know, they tweaked some things this offseason coming into this season, because defensively, that was their biggest struggle last season. You know, they're scoring 5 goals, but they're also allowing 5 from the other team. And so now they've tweaked things defensively. And I think that they've been just so crispy, just from Lorena all the way up to obviously Tim Washawinga and Michelle Cooper. So I think they've been fantastic this season. But as far as the best, I'll fight even Mike Tyson till the day I die and say that absolutely.
Oh,
not.
You're trying to fight Mike Tyson when he's down bad, didn't he? Just
He's got the knee brace on. I can take that knee out.
Listen, I want to know what Davinia looks like on both of those teams at once. So this is the question. But no, I think that's exactly. I think that's fair. I mean, once they do it back to back, I think that's totally fair comment. But yeah, I mean, this team has just been exceptional. And honestly, it just like, even prepping for this show, I was just like, who beats them? Who beats them at this point in time? Because it's also like there's so much movement within the other teams, or like ups and downs, and they're just like, even though we were all talking about them, it just feels like they're quietly just like, even when people have some like niggles or something. And to your point, Jess, about the defense, I mean, I think Sharples is having the best season of her career. When the whole back line has been rotated, I mean, give shout outs to her, because she just continues to get better, but she is so steady back there for a team that's only given 10 goals all season. Extraordinary.
I absolutely agree. You know what? And they had so many changes in the back line too to top it all. Sharples has been, you know, obviously the most consistent player in that back line this season for them. Haley Mace bopped into that center back position. Mm-hmm. You know, you see Ellie Wheeler in and out of that outside back position.
Abby Robinson coming back. Right?
E-ball, you know, after Alana Cook went down. Alana Cook was great at the beginning of this season. So just seeing the depth that they have, you could tell that this team is not only bought in, you know, on the ball stuff, you know, final third, we know they could score goals, but they're bought in defensively. I feel like they've been so well disciplined with their pressure pockets, and they know exactly what they need to do defensively. And that it just shows, just because of the rotation that they've had, and they just have just such a stacked depth of a bench as well. It's insane.
Yeah, this team, I don't know if they really have a weakness, because not just defensively, like I agree. I think Sharples has been their best defensive player by far. Probably defender of the year, in my opinion, in the league. I think she's just been incredible, and not just her play, but her ability to be consistent no matter who they're going against, because every team is throwing everything at the wall to go and play the squad. And she has been so steadfast in her development and how she shows up for this team. So that we're giving her flowers, because shout out to defenders. I feel like they don't get them enough. But if we're looking at Kansas City, what do they actually have a weakness? Like, how can a team break them down? I thought Washington Spirit was going to be the team that was maybe going to be able to do it, but it was a draw. It was scoreless. Still nothing.
Yeah. Because I think the toughest thing is that, like, it's not just their back line, right? It's like the threat that they have in the attack is like their best defense. Yes, you can talk about pressing, but really it's just the threat of, like, that they can score anytime. That if they win the ball, there's always going to be a chance. So it's like everybody is so emotionally spent trying to figure out, like, what does our shape look like if we do lose possession? And then when they do lose possession, they're still like, well, shit, like, we're screwed again. So I just feel like they already are, like, ahead of teams even when you enter, right? Like, and it's like, even in like a Washington game, it was a very good, like, defensive battle between both of those teams. But again, Washington, who's known for their attacking threats as well, can't get on the board, not only just because of Kansas City's defense, but just because you do have to be mindful. You have to be so tuned in to, like, what's happening with your shape in possession too, that it's like you kind of lose sight of what your identity is sometimes, regardless if you want to or not. You just have to have some tweaks and some changes.
No, that's such a good point, because you look at that squad and what Michelle Cooper was out in their game. Lowe didn't start in their game. Don't matter. Schwinga didn't start in the last game. Okay, we'll throw Nichelle Prince up there. Okay, Alice Sentinor can start. Okay, Claire Hutton's gonna slot in a little bit deeper. Like, the team, Dubinha's been out for half the season, still coming in and scoring a bunch of goals. Like, their waves of how good this team is just so fun to watch. But also, we have to give Vlatko some love, because each of those players have gotten better on that squad, whether they're starting, whether they play 90 minutes, whether they're coming off the bench, coming back from injury. I think Gabby Robinson, coming and watching her look confident and clean on the ball, and it just shows that this is a team that you would, like, die to play for. If you're a young player coming up, that's the team you want to go to, because regardless of where you are on the squad list or on the call sheet, whatever you're going to call it, you're going to develop and get better. And I think that's what is separating Kansas City from the other teams in the league, especially right now.
Yeah. And I'll just jump in real quick, Jess, because you might have something to add, but that is all, not the injuries, but it's all by design. Having talked with him a number of times this year, calling their games, it's been interesting to hear, like, they knew that, like, okay, we can't just keep starting all 11 players. Yes, we've had to. That has been forced upon us when people have, like, a little bit of an injury or whatnot. But he was like, it is by design that we have to rotate, because we need to be heading into the playoffs with, like, 15, 16 players that we know can play 90 minutes if needed when called upon. So I love it. That was the point I was going to make. And then you brought up Vlatko, and I think that's the perfect segue, because he's obviously the one that's looking not only for this season, but also the vision of bringing Sentinor in for years to come, having youth players. Like, what does our average age look like? Where do we need to get younger, right? Like, all of these things, why he's being the head coach too. So, I mean, yeah, I think what he's done with that, with this team last year, and then just, like, getting fine-tuning and making adjustments this year has been extraordinary.
They just look like they're playing happy football.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Darian.
Right?
I'm sorry. I just had to mention
go
that.
ahead.
Like, it just looks.
No, they are.
It looks
Temwa's
fun.
reaction to scoring, to running to him.
Oh, how cute was that, you guys? I
And
was in tears.
his reaction, he's jumping.
Yes. Oh, that was so great. I'm here for it. Yeah.
No, I am too. I wanted to ask both of you, Lori, just listening to you talk, I kind of chuckle, because I'm like, I've had coaches that would never rotate, ever. When you guys were playing, could you imagine, like, going into a long season, or coach being like, all right, well, we're going to give you a rest here because we know this? I feel like that's a fairly new, very modern thing that Vlatko's doing here.
Yeah. And also forward thinking, I think, in a lot of ways. Well, maybe not like forward thinking in the sense of, like, okay, we haven't seen anybody else do this before, but forward thinking in all the things that we talk about with this league, right? There's going to be more games. You have Orlando, we're seeing that with right now, with them having to like
Oof.
the position that they're in, but also with CONCACAF Champions Cup, they look tired. So I feel like these are the things that you have to start to think about, one, depth, but also just to be able to rotate players so that you can win games going to the West Coast, going to the East Coast, depending on where you are. I mean, it all adds up. And which is a whole nother conversation too. And I know have touched on it before, but you look at that month-long break, 5-week break, it has accelerated some teams and it has depleted other teams immensely. And I think you always have to have like ways to freshen up your squad to get yourself out of the situations, whether it's a rut, whether it's like a losing streak, whether you're winning all the time. It's just a way to shake things up. And one way to do that is being able to feel like everybody's a part of the squad, right?
Right.
Even when things are great.
Well, producer Mark, shout out. He sent in a fun exchange between Temwa and Vlatko. Vlatko had mentioned that Temwa said to him, "If I score a header, are you going to dye your hair like me?" He said, "Absolutely not." But I guess when Temwa was celebrating and ran over to him, she said, "When I score, I go to Vlatko and tell him, you should dye your hair." We know Vlatko's not. I think maybe if they win a championship, maybe.
Let's do it.
That's a different story.
Come on, let's put it in the universe.
Listen, when I show up to Kansas City on Thursday, I'll let you know if his hair is dyed, okay?
Okay, yeah. Send us some BTS.
Please do. I'm here for it. Yeah, definitely after a championship, I can see it happening.
Yeah, you have to.
Just so great between the two of them. Just the joy that you saw on Vlatko's face and Tim watching as she turned to him immediately. Like she, ran right past her teammates. She knew exactly where she was going as soon as she scored a header. So that was just cherry on top that they got to hug one another after that goal. I'm just like, if you weren't in your feelings, you're not human. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. I think everybody was tearing up at that. But Lori, what you mentioned with my Pride girls, we're in a rough stretch. It's been a difficult time since the summer break. Obviously, Barbara Banda getting injured, which they're just missing her so much. They've only scored 5 goals in the last 9 games while being shut out 5 times and allowing 14 goals. 14 goals. This is so unlike the Orlando that we got accustomed to last year. Sounded like the Orlando I played with, to be honest. Exactly.
You're like, I didn't really want to bring that up.
Yes, I was reading. I was like, "Wait, this feels familiar." But after the match, Seb was quoted saying, "Disappointed with the result, but not the performance. I thought between the two halves, we put some really good pressure on, forcing a lot of turnovers, a lot of errors. I sound like a broken record, but it's fine margins. Again, we're so close to scoring." Angelina was also quoted saying, "Tough game. We tried everything we could. It was unfortunate in the last 2 minutes of the game we just got scored on. They got lucky, but we kept trying. I mean, that's the spirit of this team. We keep trying, we keep fighting, and we are going to try and find that win." Mm-hmm. How do you both feel after that? Lori, let's start with you first, because I know you're literally on every game. I was shocked I didn't hear your voice tonight on the call.
No, yeah, I was on this call. So I was on the Orlando call. So it's just funny.
Of course.
Yeah, I love this team. I love the Orlando team, and I feel for them because I have been in these situations as a player. And honestly, sometimes you just feel like, what are we going to do? How do we actually get out of this? And in this game in particular, I mean, also North Carolina needed a win. This is like, we are getting into must-win territories for a lot of these teams. Like, you can't drop points. Otherwise, there's teams right ahead of you or below you that are moving all different directions. But I say that because I just don't. Ovalle has given them a lift, but it's not the same as Barbara Banda, right? Like she's riding challenges, just giving you hope in a different way. And when you lose that caliber of a player, then that means everybody else has to step up. And I think the toughest thing right now is people are stepping up, but they look tired to me. They look tired. And it's not going to get any easier. They're about to go on a 3-game road trip in 10 days because they have San Diego, then CONCACAF Champions Cup on the road, and then Houston on the road. And so it is not getting it much better for this Orlando team. And I think the toughest part is like, it's a little bit of belief, right? Like at some point in time, you are lacking a little bit of what you need because they had Macy Bell clear a line, Nat Jacobs hit a header at the very end of the game that kept the ball out of the back of the net. Now, so did North Carolina in their favor too. Like there was a few defensive plays from Orlando that kept before they got the 2 goals or the 1 goal, that kept North Carolina off the board as well. But like still, yeah, it's just they're getting close. And they're putting some good soccer together and they're pressing and doing all these things. But it's just and that continues to be the story, right? It's like, I don't know.
Brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I know we've all been there, but I wonder how much of it is just like the mental aspect of it. Like that you mentioned the fatigue of them playing in a tournament while also in the middle of a season. Crunch time in a season. And Jess, I want to know from you, how much of it do you think is just like mental exhaustion? Like they relied on Banda so much, so that load has to go on everybody else. But in the midst of everything else going on, is that it? Is that what we can chalk it up to?
Yeah, at this point, it's all about mental competitiveness, but we have to think about the physical part as well. I mean, there was such a big international break. A lot of the players on their national teams to top it off. We're talking about Champions Cup as well. I mean, it's just a buttload of games this season for, Orlando Pride being one of those teams. And, there's a few other NWSL teams as well where fatigue is going to set in. It really is, because it's a hard thing to juggle club and country first and foremost. And then you're adding in a random tournament in the middle of the season. It's a lot. And so I can definitely see why, the mental part and the physical part is very difficult right now. But like Lori said, right now, these are the dying moments for a lot of these teams to get as many points as they possibly can. And now Orlando, I don't think things can get any worse for them. I think once that loss had happened between them and Chicago, when Chicago beat them 5 goals to 2 or 3, I'm like, okay, let's hit a reset button, ladies. And now this loss against Courage. So I honestly, I think that Seb Hines is going to motivate this team. I think this is a very good time to do so. I don't think that they don't have room for any more setbacks this season. I mean, teams are catching up now. There's this little bubble in the middle of the table, and Orlando Pride, they're hitting that bubble right now where they could possibly not even make playoffs. And so teams are catching up. So now it's like, okay, could this be their motivation? Is now they're sitting in this bubble. Marta, can you step up to the table? Let's motivate your team, because that woman, she can give a great speech, but they have to apply it onto the field. So I'm crossing my fingers for this Orlando Pride side, because they are still a very talented team.
Agreed.
And I think, honestly, they've been playing pretty good, not like great football like we saw in 2024. Okay. They're still creating chances. They just need to get the ball in the back of the net. Like we see it. And so it's just, they're inching closer and closer. So I'm hoping they get points, moving forward.
Are we talking about Orlando or Louisville? I feel like we're talking about Louisville of the last 3 seasons, and it's the freaking Pride, the reigning champions. The fact that 3 points separates 3rd place to 8th place is crazy. Orlando plays San Diego next, a team that's hungry to get back into rhythm. They're in 5th place right now, sitting a little bit more comfortably. Houston's has 26 at 9th. It's incredibly close. Orlando, I'm wondering if this pressure of, Jess, you said, you're hoping it motivates them, that they're at that playoff line, very close to being out of playoff contention right now. That's going to motivate them. I wonder if that's even more detrimental, that there's no cushion.
It could be either way.
I think it totally is. I think it's all, again, even like, let's just take the game on Friday night with North Carolina versus Orlando. North Carolina's in a similar spot, right? Because going into that game, they were right below the playoff line. They'd gotten a win against Angel City the weekend before. And so they have just like that little extra belief or like momentum, right, to come into this game. And Orlando continues to just drop points, unfortunately. And when it comes down to the wire about just like finding a way to get those 3 points, unfortunately you're going with North Carolina at that point in time, because they do have just there's no real seed of doubt, right? There's just like they're like, well, we did this last week, whereas like for Orlando it's kind of like, oof, okay, this keeps happening, and I feel like doesn't, like we said, they have those 3 games coming up. It's just like, my only concern is when I was on a team when this happened, it didn't get better. Like,
it got so bad. It got worse.
I hate this for this Orlando team, because I really actually do think there's moments where they're playing really good soccer still, and they're getting unlucky. And then there's moments where they just look tired, right, and they just couldn't get the job done. But I think the San Diego game will be huge. If they can't get some sort of point out of it, then I feel like, goodness gracious, I don't know what this is going to look like, because then you have Houston, you have that midweek game, and then you go to Houston. And we all know Houston is not easy. That might be the toughest place to play. Okay?
Houston's horrible to play at. Exactly. Although I love their stadium, terrible to play at. It's hot. They're used to it. They're accustomed to that weather. Although Orlando is in a different way, but it's a different kind of heat. But we lost Jess. That's okay, Lori. we'll keep talking until J-Mac comes back. But going to playing against Houston, who's hungry, who just looks confident. I'm looking at this playoff line. I mean, Houston's in 9th, Louisville's in 10th, Angel City's in 11th. I mean, I personally am writing off Angel City. I don't think that they've done enough. I think losing Alyssa Thompson was emotional, mental loss just as much it was losing her talent on the field. And I think we've seen that team kind of lose their way. But who was the best shot to jump into that playoff line? And who do you think is going to drop out of it?
Oh God, I know, this is making me nervous. I've been thinking about this for so long.
I know. I've got the standings up. It's tight. North Carolina is at that line in 8th, then the Pride.
Yeah. Well, okay. So even just looking at the standings now, I feel like the best opportunity to get into the playoffs is Houston. Again, I would agree what you're saying about Angel City, and then also just looking at Racing Louisville. I've really enjoyed covering this team. I like what they're all about. I like how they play. They don't shy away from the way that they want to play. They're not trying to keep possession and say or they're not trying to keep possession, right? Like, they're just like, this is what we do. This is how we want to play. We're going for it. I love Bev, and I've loved how like her team seems to really rally around. But I think there's a couple of things. When you drop that many points so late in games, it's still, to me, a sign of a team that's maturing. And it's like, maybe this isn't the season. And then also the Sav DeMello, which is like, it's just emotionally, it's just like, this team, you really feel how tight knit they are, and how much time off the field they feel like they spend together too. And I think when you lose somebody that's like a leader in the attack for you, it just that takes a toll. Even if it doesn't look like it does from game to game, there is that piece that's like in your mind, like, you miss like a huge player for you. That's like a big boost. Kind of like anybody, like we're talking about Barbara Banda, Alyssa Thompson, all of these players.
Kundananji, who just came in for a little bit and
100%
turned the game around.
But to drop out, I don't want to say Orlando, but I'm nervous.
You're gonna say it.
I don't know. I just say that's why I want to go with it that way. I don't want to say them. I am nervous about them, just with their schedule. But I actually think that they might be able to overcome. North Carolina will be interesting to see if they can sustain this after just jumping into the playoffs. So I think. Report back next week after Orlando plays San Diego. I think if they get a point out of that game,
then it'll tell you.
Yeah, if they get a point out of that game, I think they'll be riding. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going to say
fingers crossed. I want them to.
I want them to do well too, but it's like it's that post-traumatic stress that I'm feeling of not being a part of just one team but 2 teams, that if you just cannot score. No matter what. And it's that crunch time where other teams are just putting them away. I'm actually got my eye on Seattle. I'm not convinced.
No, that's fair. I think that's a good shout too.
I'm not convinced with how they're not producing more goals, how they're not playing better, at least defensively, with Laura Harvey, the talent that they have on their team. It's it doesn't. Hey, oh, there she is. Mama's back.
Mama is back. My goodness. I'm having laptop troubles, so my MacBook is
Get it on your
annoying.
phone.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I need to.
We were saying, who do we think is going to drop out of playoffs and who's going to make it in? Lori is question marks around Orlando. We both think Houston's the team to make it in, just because I think that they've done so well. I think we've seen Yasmin Ryan come back to life finally with the squad. But I have I'm circling Seattle. I'm not convinced with how they're playing, but I want to know what you think.
I agree with Seattle. They don't have scoring power up top. They've definitely been having a
which
lot
is
of trouble
wild with who they have.
Goals. Exactly, to top it off. I definitely think Houston is going to squeak by. So I 100% agree with you guys. I think Seattle is going to be that team to drop off, and I think Houston's going to squeak through. So insane. We're on the same page there. I think Seattle has too much star power up front, and it's kind of shocking to see them kind of lacking the goals. Which is
like
really
champagne
weird.
problems up top?
Oh, yeah,
Or like lack of chemistry?
Lack of chemistry. Like, I just don't see it in the final third. They don't give me enough oohs and ahs in that final third. And I wish that Lynn Biondolo was healthy, throughout this season. I feel like she would have made a huge impact for them. Mia Official, I don't think she's adjusted yet. I haven't seen her look dangerous like we've seen in the past. Like, we know her talent. We just haven't seen it yet this season. So I think that's what they're lacking, just chemistry in that final third, because you know what, So Fuerta, she's still whipping those balls into the box. Sam Mays she's threading the needle as well. So they're getting there, they're breaking lines. It's just once they get in front of goal, it's like, okay, honey, what you doing? So definitely lacking chemistry in that final third, which is very shocking for a team like this when you look at the names on this roster.
Yeah, that are stacked. Well, producer Mark put a poll into the chat. And 52% of people voted that Orlando do not make playoffs, and 48% said they do. So, Lori, those vibes.
Okay, I'm changing it. Come on, Orlando. Let's go. Keep yourself above. Keep yourself above. Let's go.
All right. Well, next weekend's going to be a really big tell, but it wouldn't be Attacking Third After Dark if we didn't make our weekly best 11. So stick with us. We're going to drop those after this quick break. Hey, friends. Welcome back. Okay. Everyone's favorite part of the show and the one that gives me the most anxiety week after week. Actually, I haven't been in this in a couple weeks, so I'm actually really excited. And your girl got the defense this week. But Jess, we're going to start with you. Our A3 best 11, even the players get involved up on our A3 post. I absolutely love it. But who you got? Our resident forward expert, incredible goal scorer. Who impressed you this week?
Oh, thank you, sis. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Yasmin Ryan. Just forcing a ball, a turnover, in that final third, and then just slotting it low across the frame. Just what a world-class finish. It's like, okay, go on, Yasmin Ryan. You can't do anything but celebrate for this young woman who has had it rough a little bit this season. She's been great for Houston consistently. She just hasn't found the net as much as, we would all like, and probably her as well. So what a fantastic goal. Clean sheet for her team, lone goal scorer. So I got to give Yasmin Ryan that first one. Number 2, y'all, Tanaka turned things up this weekend. Boy, you want to talk about a player who loves the half spaces. Oh my goodness. First of all, let me talk about her goal. Okay. Ball pops out to her. She chests it one way. She brings it down. She pops it over 2 defenders. Mind you, one of them being Taylor Flint, of all people, 6'2".
So it had
Tanaka,
to go 7 feet over her head and a
what
jump.
I mean? Yeah.
Got it.
To top it off. She dinks it over 2 defenders, and over her shoulder to her left foot, she hits a full volley in the low corner. Oh my goodness, what a world-class finish. And then she sets up Thompson outside on the assist. Minutes later, she opens up her body in that half space, whips it to Thompson on the right side, golazo. And then she started off the play on their third goal as well. It was a transitional moment. It went to Tanaka. She went to Thompson, and the rest was history. So Tanaka is number 2. And then obviously we got to give the queen her crown, Tim Washawinga, baby.
Yes.
She scored her header goal this weekend. She got to celebrate with Vlatko. They sealed the deal with Shield for Kansas City Current. I mean, Golden Boot, race, MVP last year, and she's just crushing things this season too. But you know what? I got a question to ask you. Can I do a substitute?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a sub striker.
Wait, I love how I jumped in. You're asking Darian. Just the answer.
Jess, you think I make the rules to this? No.
I'm just making sure. So this is a total game changer, and that's exactly what she did today for her team. And I'm going to have to go with Rachael Kundananji. So what a world-class finish. Bent, far post. I mean, just probably one of my favorite shots in football. Just corner of the 18, turned and just whipped that thing far post. So hats off to Rachael Kundananji, my game changer, my substitute. So yeah. All right. Midfield now. Lori Lindsey, what you got, sis?
Yeah. Okay. So I have Manaka for North Carolina. Even though she didn't score the goal, I mean, like we all know, she's lights out. She actually is the one that was able to. She sprung the attack for them to go on that little counterattack, and then Shinomi's the one that finished. But I think the way, if you're looking at without Jaden Shaw now for North Carolina, Sanchez is out, Denise O'Sullivan. Manaka, if you're asking players to step up in these moments, she's doing that. I mean, she is doing
without a head coach as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Without a permanent head coach.
Just phenomenal. So Manaka through and through. And the week before, she scored their first goal and then played the final pass for the ball across for Pinto. So yeah, just exceptional. I actually had Tanaka, so I'm glad you said this because we're just going to give her love on every single line. So if you have her on the defense or in goal, put her on the back line too. Because yes, I mean, first of all, I know that this is for this week, but just credit to Utah in general. I mean, they've only lost since the break to Kansas City, which is the second game of once we all came back. And she's been exceptional. Just the goals that you're mentioning, but just the work that she's putting in. And again, when you think about these teams losing certain players like Sintnor, and then people just coming to life or stepping up, huge. And then my third for the midfield, I'm going to give love to Evelyn Shores, scoring her. She's been playing left back, played in the midfield, and got her first career goal. So, and this is a player that just joined Angel City kind of at the spur of the moment in July when it was like, okay, I'm not going back to college. I'm joining Angel City. And so, listen, we all remember our first goals, and to get a tie against Washington, huge. So we want to give her a little bit of love. Anybody that's scoring their first goal, then credit. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, you're getting some people I think are questioning you, Lori, in the chat. People want to put Tanaka in the midfield and then sub in Kundananji up top. But if a listener can be goalkeeper of the week and forward, we can have her in both. We can have her as a forward midfielder. Like we said, there are no rules in this.
Wait, what are people upset? Oh, because they want Rose and all of these,
or Olivia Moultrie. People are giving you some fire. And Croy.
Oh, hold on. These people, these players are, all of these midfielders are amazing for sure. But I put Coffee and Moultrie on my list a lot of the time, almost every week. I'm just talking about this particular
We're trying to
week.
spread the love. Yeah. We also got some hate earlier about the Utah erasure that's always in A3. Well, welcome back, because I also have another player from Utah in the back line for me. I'm giving Jenny Thompson some love. Yes. I thought she scored a beautiful banger. I thought she was consistently in her defensive positioning. I think Utah it's finally coming together for my home state. Yes. Shout out to the Utah Royals, because it was painful the first half of the season, and I think they've really turned it around. Despite losing their franchise player or trading away their franchise player, I think this team has actually risen to the occasion more than we've seen. I think not relying on Ali Sentinor, everybody has stepped up. Paige Monahan has stepped up. Tanaka stepped up. This team just looks brilliant. So I absolutely love Jenny Thompson. Shout out to her getting a goal. I'm also going to give Macy Bell some love. Yes. She had a goal line save and clearance. I thought she was brilliant. Seen her grow a lot throughout the season. Reina Reyes with Portland. Got the equalizing goal, saved her team. I think she also looks really strong defensively. And I want to give some love to my girl, Janine Sonis, because as a forward that very frequently got made into a makeshift outside back, wing back, it's a difficult adjustment. And I think she's handled it with so much grace, and she looks so good, and still having the confidence to go forward and attack, create chances, and then put away a beautiful free kick.
That was sweet.
Yeah. Chef's kiss. So I had to give her some love. And then goalkeeper. I think this is my first time doing defense, so I'm just all over the place. Goalkeeper. We have to give Lorena some love. She has 12 out of 14 shutouts for her club. She's one off of the NWSL record all time of shutouts in a single season, and I think she's probably going to get it with the rate Kansas City's going. But she has just been so incredible coming to the league, learning English, gelling with this team, stepping up huge, leading from the back, getting the shield for her squad with a shutout. I mean, how could we not give her some love? So there's our back four. I don't know if anyone's giving me hate for this. I'm lost in the chat. But I hope not.
No, I don't think so. No, I think these are, that's great.
Okay, cool.
Good to me. Yes.
Okay, well, you know that we do some honorary ones as well. Coach of the week. I think we all may agree on somebody.
I think so too. Yeah, we got to get this flower.
1, 2, 3.
Vlatko.
Yep. The audio made it kind of difficult, but yeah, Vlatko. Wait, this is incredible. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad.
It actually kind of looks natural.
Yeah, it kind of works. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the teal chairs.
That is fantastic.
So
Could you? Oh my god,
it works. That is so funny. I really do hope that this happens. So that's a great shout. We need to make sure Temuan or someone at Kansas City, I don't know, throw some blue dye in his shampoo one day at the end of training or something like that, so he doesn't even know. But before we get to our captain of the week, of course, it wouldn't be A3 After Dark if we didn't have a special interview. And guess what? Tonight we got a 2-for-1 special. We are going to be interviewing Rachael Kundananji Brookly Courtnall after coming off of a massive tie tonight against Gotham FC. Ladies, welcome into Attacking Third. Thank you for joining us. Rachael, first off, can you walk us through that goal? That was so sweet. Just take us through the moment. You came on the pitch. the ball pops up, you cut it inside, and then what was going through your mind when you took that shot?
I think I just had patience and to say, I have to do this and like just know where I'm going next, because I already had like the whole 60 minutes watching from the bench, just knowing how the defensive is when in each position, how they are dropping and everything. And like even the communication from the team, I feel like today it was so great and fantastic. Like everyone was, they had to set a tone whereby even on the bench, they gave us, anxiety to say when I go in, I don't need to make a mistake because they are doing everything, and like I was just so happy and to say I have to take this and try my luck, because every time I try that I always hit the post, but today I was so lucky and it went in. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty emotional. I was just very excited. I feel like my nerves were more towards excitement, and I was just trying to tell myself, this is like a game I've been playing my whole life, even though this is on a bigger stage. It's the same game, and just take what I know and try to put that into the game. And I think that gave me the confidence to play today.
I need some of the wisdom of the young players when I was that
Right?
age. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Before today's game, Brooklyn, what was kind of your approach going up against, Golden Boot race, winner so far, Esther Gonzalez? I mean, you've got Mitch Purse, up front. So what was kind of your mindset going into today's game, knowing you're about to get that start?
Yeah, knowing that you're going against all those amazing players can be nerve-wracking. So I think it was important this whole week to go over film and to really prep during the week, because I think that gave us the confidence in the game. So that groundwork that we did during the week, going against those type of players that are so dynamic and so many of them on the field that have all these different attributes, was very important. So yeah, I think that work in the week led up to the game.
Well, it's got to feel good being able to go against a player like Rachael Kundananji for the last few weeks, prepping you to go against players like that. So I absolutely love it.
She's been helping me. Yeah.
Yeah. She's been giving you the insider tips.
Yeah, exactly. Having to defend her.
You just need to defend me. That's it. Every time.
Like that's the trick.
Yeah. And
I
during
love it.
training, I'm even more harder than in the game.
Yeah.
So
she's always in my ear in training.
Oh, she talk a little trash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love it.
No.
Well, at least I'm preparing you for
Yeah,
something
she's just
big.
prepping.
I love that. You need that.
Yeah.
Rachael, I wanted to ask, typically you're starting on this team, and we were even talking before the show, it was fun to see you come in and just be able to put all of your energy into 30 something minutes into the match. How different was your approach to being a sub off of the bench as opposed to starting and playing a full 90 today?
I think for me today, I didn't take it like I came in from the bench. I felt like I started the game, because my mind was just like, I only have few minutes in the game to do something, to do wonders. I don't have the whole 45 or the whole 90 minutes to do anything. So I feel like it's because of the time that I had and like the tone that was set by my teammates. Like everyone, like I said earlier, they were just like on their top performance. They were pushing, they were aggressive, they were giving it also. Like I said, they gave me anxiety. So it was just like, I need to be on my toes. I need to go in. I need to pull up my socks and, yeah.
How big of a performance and result was this for you all, just in terms of like your mindset heading into this, knowing how tight the race is, and just given all the pressure that's happening towards the end of this last part of the season?
I think today we wanted a win, like we were not even hoping for a lose or a draw. We were just hoping for the win. We were here to fight for the win, for the win. Only that, unfortunately we drew. But like we were almost losing, but because of the effort everybody was giving in, like we won. We drew the game. So like I feel like even we draw, like I feel like we won as a team. Just with the performance and everything that we did. So we're just now focusing in the next games and see where, like the next game where we are hosting Utah. Yeah, so like we are focusing on that game and see, on Monday or Tuesday we go for practice and yeah, that's it.
Absolutely
I
amazing.
absolutely love it. Jess, you got one?
Yeah, one last one, if you don't mind. Rachel, there was a huge international break for, a good chunk of time in the middle of the season. Were there any goals that you set for yourself moving into the second half of the season?
Oh yeah. Every time when I go off season or when I go with the national team, I have so much time to analyze all the games that I've played from here, analyze all the games that I've played in the national team. So like I'll just sit on my iPad and try to check the games and like try to analyze. So I came to realize that I can be a very, very good team player, whereby creating chances, creating opportunities for my teammates. Also, I can score where I feel like I can score, but like most of the things, my target was like creating goals.
I see. Well, Rachel, we're loving you with the confidence to go in and score some yourself because we know you've got that. So
Thank you.
Keep it up. But Brooklyn, I have one more question for you. Now I know you picked USC. I played UCLA with your sister and with Abby Dahlkemper. Has Abby and your sister given you some advice coming into, your first start, now being at the Bay? What advice have they given you and what's that been like to transition into this pro career?
Yeah, first of all, go Trojans.
Boo!
No, playing with Abby I haven't been playing with her, but having Abby and Caprice as well has been a dream come true. I've been watching you guys with my sister. That was like a dream for me to play with them. So Caprice and Abby were telling me today, just be yourself, be calm, be confident. This season hasn't been going our way, so we need someone to step in, and I feel like I could do that. So I just tried to step in as best as I could and be confident. Abby told me to put players on their butt and just act like you're not a rookie. So that's what I tried to do.
Well, you came with that energy. So congratulations on your first start. Rachel, congrats on the banger. We can't wait to see many more.
Thank you so much.
Score some goals. And Brooklyn, keep putting people on their butts.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much for your time and good luck next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love when we get a 2-for-1.
That was great.
I love when the young players come in with all the wisdom and just showing us how it's done. Goodness gracious.
I think I blacked out my first minutes.
Totally. Actually, I was just like huffing and puffing. I could barely keep up with the play because I'm like, whoa, this is a different level than college. Here we are.
Right?
She's like, okay, I'm going to stay calm. I'm used to this. Like, goodness.
Yeah,
gracious.
play like I'm not a rookie. I was like, I'm subbing in for J-Mac. I know that's who I subbed in for. Yeah, I blacked out. Okay, moving on. Captain of the week. And this, mind you, this can be anything, anyone. It doesn't have to be an actual player on the pitch. I want to give a shout out. I'll throw in my mention. The Kansas City Current fans. I think
that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I think they've been incredible. They have made that stadium, CPKC Stadium, a fortress to go into. And I think the support this team has is so inspiring. And it's exactly what you would want to play for as a pro athlete. And they've fully curated that and make it so difficult to go play at, but an exciting place to go play at. So that's my honorable mention. But I don't know who you guys had thought of.
Yeah.
For this one.
Well, actually, I'm kind of changing mine because you gave me an interest. Like, this is when we were talking about Vlatko, I also was going to mention this, but now it's a perfect time, which I'm going to go with his assistants and his staff, because Freya Coombe, all the people, and even know how much
Rocky
Vlatko
Milan, you're
yeah,
incredible.
exactly. Even though Vlatko's the one that has to be like thinking about all these different things, just having been at their training, having been at their stadium so many times, the work that they all put in is just it just unnoticed by most people, right? And by fans and by just everyone that doesn't see the immediacy that happens like within and the intimacy that happens within like a club. It's just extraordinary. And so that, and I know Vlatko would say this, none of this success would be happening without the people that he's surrounded with. So yeah, I mean,
I love that,
my,
Lori.
yeah.
I love that
has
too.
my vote.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you were on call with him, Lori or Darian, but Vlatko mentioned that after he was head coach for the U.S. Women's National Team, he wanted to bring what treatment the U.S. Women's National Team got and brought it to Kansas City Current, from like the charter flights. I mean, anything that they need for recovery. I mean, you name it, whatever these players need, he was able to bring to this organization. So, you know what? I'm just going to have to go with the entire organization of Kansas City Current, from the fans to the front staff, because they've got the whole package. You know what I mean? They're treating their players the way players should be treated. And it's a hard thing to stop when players are being put first. And, it brings less stress onto the field as well. And then, Darian, you mentioned it, they're fans. They're unbelievable. And then obviously their coaching staff. So it's the whole package for me, for Kansas City Current, their vibe, their fans, their organization, the way that they run things for the players, which is the most important thing for their success. So shout out Kansas City Current. So
all right, so Casey's just the winner. They won the Shield. They've won the players. They've won the staff, and the front office, the fans, the dope stadium. Shout out to Kansas City. You guys are the honorary captain. You know what? All of Kansas City.
all of it.
Yeah, actually, now the city. The city's
Exactly. No, I absolutely love that. I think they deserve it. Breaking records and just being the most exciting team to watch, and I think be able to just witness the history that they're creating. So I love that, you guys. I think that that's great. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. This was a really fun show. We got a 2-for-1 interview with Brookly Courtnall and Rachael Kundananji. And I would be remiss to say, everybody wish our producer Mark a congratulations and send him all of your love, as this is his last and final show with us. We know that he'll be in on the chat with us, though, especially on A3 After Dark. So don't forget, get him chopping it up. I know he'll have some takes, and I really appreciate it. Also, shout out to my grandma and grandpa who are watching the show. Go to bed.
Yes, love that.
I know, what? The Jenkins are up and crashing the party. I love it. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. From Lori and Jess, myself, Darian, and our producer, Mark, this was Attacking Third.